pig, and I love it. And I read and do all kinds of things in there. But I absolutely love my Sunlight and Sauna. Of course, there's Paleo Magazine. Visit them at Paleo Mag online to find a store near you and pick up a copy. Their newest copy just came out. It hit newsstands. I've got mine here, as well as the Wellbeing Journal, heralding the integration of medicine with physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and social aspects of health. Wellbeing Journal is now available in both print and digital order or digital version. Order online at wellbeingjournal.com. So great to have you in studio. It was great being at the Fur Ball with you too, Autumn.
I think you're
fun. It was fun, and you are an absolute animal nut, just like I am. And Dr. Tuleman, do you still have your horses?
Yes.
You're a horse. You're an animal guy. Just one horse. A horse, of course. And do you have any dogs right now?
No.
No? Okay. Well, maybe I can help you out with that.
You have before.
I know you have. You got to have a dog. What's wrong with you? You got a horse? You got to
You
have a
told me
dog.
about dogs before. You and your dogs. I've forgotten about
I've got
that.
7
Oh,
dogs
God.
and a ton of cats. I forgot. I can't even count them all. I can't keep track. Oh, my gosh. But Autumn actually was at the house and met my newest one, Susan, little
Yes.
Susie.
She's adorable.
All the girls got ready in the back of my house. There was like 7 of us all running around, getting ready, putting on our makeup and styling. And
I know, but here's this little dog, this little tiny dog, and she's just like staring like she's one of the bunch. And
It was funny.
You've only had her for what, a month?
I've
Not
only
even?
had her like a month. Yeah, a little bit over a month.
Yeah,
and,
it was about a month.
Yeah, and of course she was excited to see her other mom, Lexi Brinkley, over there. So all
she was
good.
Very dedicated to girls' night.
Yeah, she was very dedicated to girls' night. Absolutely. Well, I love having you in studio, Autumn. I always do. All things Autumn. Autumn is a self-taught vegan cook. She is a mom of 2, a researcher of all natural remedies, an animal lover. She teaches free meditation and yoga classes, and she has written a children's book. But most importantly, she is the inventor of Ether Elixir. You can find Autumn at probioticsyall.com. Today we're talking about psychobiotics. So many people are like, what is that? So can you explain it to us?
It's simple. It's actually what I've talked about many times before with probiotics, but there's a whole category name for the ones that actually confer mental health benefits, and those are called psychobiotics. So we've talked at length before about how your microbiome is responsible for sending all kinds of signals to the vagus nerve that runs from your gut into your brain and actually changing your brain chemistry, creating similar effects to antidepressants, except for in a natural way. So if you have your microbiome balanced, if you have the right flora, the right probiotics, the right psychobiotics that are in there, you actually can reverse things like depression and anxiety. So it's not necessarily anything super novel, except for that if you do suffer from things like depression or anxiety, then you ought to be looking for certain strains of probiotics rather than just like the acidophilus that's in the yogurt on the
is the
food
future
section.
of probiotics like going and actually buying an elixir that targets depression and anxiety?
I think so, for sure.
That would be so cool.
In reading,
absolutely.
in reading through these, it was interesting because a lot of the highly researched probiotic strains, the ones that have really been shown to have other ramifications in helping reverse chronic disease, are also the same ones that affect your mental health. So there's a lot of research now going into are they affecting the mental health because they are adding because they are increasing certain chemicals like serotonin in your brain, and the extra serotonin is lessening your depression and then therefore allowing your body to actually heal the physical ailments that it has as well. So it's kind of cool, which
it's very cool.
Yeah, it's like, are you sick because you're unhappy? And then once your microbiome makes you more happy, then you're not as sick, or are the bacteria actually reversing the illness? It's kind of an interesting study.
And I remember when the GAPS diet first came out in the book by Natasha McCampbell McBride, medical doctor in Europe. I think she lives in London. But the gut and psychology syndrome, natural treatment for autism, ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, depression, and schizophrenia. The schizophrenia really got my attention because I have a brother that's schizophrenic. We now know why, some of the causes that led him to that diagnosis. But it's so interesting to me. Schizophrenia, I can tell you from firsthand, is a very, very extreme mental disorder, and it's very disruptive to the family.
Very.
If we could find a way to correct that simply through our diet and our microbiome, what a huge, incredible gift to the universe that would be to figure that out.
It would be.
And they say that there are treatments for it. So
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you this though: can you have too many? Well, let me start with this first. How do you know if you need psychobiotics?
I would say just if you're number one, most people are going to need some form of bacterial microflora support just because of the environment that we all live in. Even if you live a pretty clean life, I mean, you're still subject to just the modern age. But for the most part, if you have anything specific to target, so if you have anxiety or you have depression or you have any sort of chronic disease or autoimmune disease or anything like that, I would say that looking into psychobiotics would be probably a pretty good approach.
Yeah, and cutting out the sugar. I'm looking at this diagram, Dr. Toolman. I don't know if you can see it from over here, but this is in the book, and this is exactly why children are put on ADD and ADHD medication. They're getting too much sugar, which makes them hyper,
Have some sugar and want some TV.
And then, exactly. And little bodies and little minds are so curious and want to jump all around anyway, and then you inject a bunch of sugar into them. Of course you're going to have ADD, ADHD.
No, for sure.
And then those medications disrupt their gut microbiome, and next you've got a potion for disaster in children.
Okay, so my kids, they eat pretty clean, but I do let them... they're still kids. They're 7 and 8. So they kind of, I let them make a lot of decisions. But some friends of theirs gave them free Slurpees. And so I was like, we got them, whatever. We were leaving from an event. There's a 7-Eleven right on the corner on the way to our house. And I was like, okay, fine. You guys can get them. They were manic. I mean, it was like... like they just were on a drug.
Here's what you do. You say one sip and then it goes in the trash.
Oh, no, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't even let them drink it's like they probably drank like a third of a cup or whatever. And
they still were off the wall.
It was insane.
They're
I
not
wanted
going
to
to want to stop.
Yeah. And then
it's high fructose corn syrup that's sweetening it.
And well, they know that,
And it's addicting. And that's why. So even the soda and these restaurants that push the soda sales, I mean, that's one of their biggest profits. That's how they make all the money that they do, really, at the end of the day. And it's very disruptive to think that all this stuff that we eat is causing so many problems. And it bothers me when we're speaking about children.
Yeah, for sure. So children, one of the best psychobiotics that there are is a B infantanis. And it's actually one that babies are first populated with when they come out of their mother's body. And it actually serves as a food source for the other bacteria, the good bacteria that are needed to colonize to make the human microbiome, a healthy one. And so, but that is actually been proven to be one of the highest psychobiotics because most people don't have enough of it. And in my thinking and in some of the research that I've read, it's because a lot of formula. A lot of babies are being fed formula. A lot of things
soy formula, which is genetically modified. It's all connected.
Exactly.
Don't get me started.
It probably has maltodextrin in it.
I'm out of time. Now I'm going to go I'm just going to. I can't wait to get back on the mic tomorrow, you guys. Oh my gosh, Dr. Tuleman, thank you so much. What a pleasure to have you in studio. Hope you'll come back sometime and we'll duke it out over stuff if we need to, right? But we'll be nice. All right. All right. Oh, my gosh, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. You know what? You get one body, you get one mind, and you get one life. Get out there today and make the most of it.
Some of us get more than one mind.